Welcome to Glocal Voices, the official podcast of the Center for Socially Engaged Theatre at the University of Regina.
Well, hello. My name is Taiwo Afolabi. Welcome to Glocal Voices. We're live and direct at the IDIERI 2025 at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. So special thanks to the Center for Socially Engaged Theatre and as part of our Festival of Arts and Discourse, FOAD, with IDIERI, we wanted to spotlight a lot of the research that are happening as researchers within drama and education, as researchers come together all over the world. Special shout out to those behind the scene, Gabriel, Walter, Shola, Caleb, and of course, Tara, for working together with me to make this happen. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking to Dr. Dirk Rodricks from the University of Toronto. And Dirk is going to be introducing himself more. But one of the opportunities we've had in this, with this podcast, the series that we're doing, is really spending the time to hear the remarkable research happening across the world within the field of applied theater and drama in education. So over to you. So good to have you, Dirk. How would you like to introduce yourself today?
Oh, well, thank you so much for the opportunity and to the center for providing this this novel opportunity to share a little bit about not only who I am, but also the work that we do within a Canadian context and also placing it in conversation with different other contexts, right? Especially at IDIERI. My name is Dr. Dirk Rodricks. I use he/him pronouns. I serve as an assistant professor in curriculum and pedagogy at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education at the University of Toronto. And my entry point into kind of the way I think about my work and my relationship to it is very much through the body and how the body, especially multiply minoritized bodies, move and negotiate space. Off late, and especially post completion of my PhD, which happened at OISE at the University of Toronto under the direction and supervision of Dr. Kathleen Gallagher, I have kind of been preoccupied with this idea of wellness and the discourses that bear upon the body, especially the young adult body, and the ways in which those experiences and ideas and practices of wellness can be better understood using applied drama, using arts-based practices. And so I think that therein lies kind of the marriage between my training in applied drama with Kathleen, the way in which I think about my own identities as a queer, Desi, South Asian man, cisgender man with ancestors from the southern part of India, having now spent 10 years in Canada and then many, many years in the United States. And I think about also my background and my history as a student affairs administrator, working with institutions and systems and structures of education that arguably are designed to let certain bodies succeed, but not fully see and recognize and value other bodies and other experiences. So I'll perhaps pause there and you can kind of tease that a little bit.
I love to tease that out. I mean, there's so much there. I wish we have the entire day to chat with you, because I think there's so much that within what you've shared. You've done a range of research and you continue to do that. What are the key highlights that kind of jump out for you, whether it's within the context of using the body, whether in the context of well-being and the way you have framed your positionality? What are the key highlights for you in those research that kind of help you to move through the lens and the world of research?
So, I'll take wellness, for example, as an example, and I think about it within the idea of how I think about social wellness. But wellness is not just those prescribed notions of self-care.
That's right.
or the clinical notions of wellness. But how do we go beyond that to think about the relationship between a person and their environment, the relationship between people? So think about it in creative, critical ways, and the way that arts can help advance new understandings of what that means. So a very relational kind of undertaking that is also responsive to community, is also responsive to wellness as a collective concept, which for many non-Western understandings is very felt and very much experienced in community as a collective. So I think about wellness there. I also think about the ways in which I think my own identity has really framed the way I look at from a theoretical and conceptual point of view. I think about decoloniality in terms of my frameworks. And when I think about decoloniality, I go to the work of Kakoli Bhattacharya that is D/colonial, where I am constantly interrogating my position as someone that can both sustain dominant discourses, but also subvert dominant discourses. And my responsibility then as a researcher, as a practitioner, as a creative, to kind of recognize that and do some reflexive work, even as I'm moving through methodology or the methods by which I'm collecting it. And then I think about, how do we go beyond social determinants to kind of think about structural determinants, and always thinking through systems. I'm a critical race scholar by training. And so I think that those are the ways in which I kind of approach the work.
I'll ask you my final question, which is around the future direction of your work. But before that, I just wanted to preface, you edited a book with Kelsey Jacobson and of course Kathleen Gallagher on global youth citizenry and radical hope and acting community engaged research using performative methodologies. Two questions in one. One, we speak a little bit about the methodology, but beyond that though is the idea of well-being. How did that sit out with the youth that you're working with? Because like you rightly said, you've experienced some of these things yourself, and that's part of the reasons why you're not just thinking in terms of social determinant, but also thinking about structural determinant. How does all of that weave through the youth population that you work with?
Well, I think one of the things that youth are telling us is that there's no one way to be well. That the wellnesses that youth are cultivating, are practicing, are multiple. Some of them are overlapping and intersecting. Some of them stand distinct, and they're responsive to multiple locales. Right. So the wellness that is practiced in Toronto by youth is very different than a wellness. And as adults in the room, we have to do a much better job at listening actively. One of the findings in my own research when it came to working with queer young adults, Desi South Asian young adults in Toronto using the arts, was one of the fundamental, what they see as a fundamental right is to see and be seen. And how do we do that multidimensionally?
That's right.
That honors in a way the ways in which they cultivate and practice wellnesses. So when I think about well-being, I think that is at the core, is that we recognize that there's a heterogeneity.
That's right.
It's not one. It's not one thing.
My final question here: What's your future aspiration for your research? What's the future direction? Where do you see yourself going? Whatever level you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah.
Obviously.
When I think about social wellness, I not only think about social wellness in terms of people, but I think about social wellness in terms of institutions.
That's right.
Like systems and structures. What is the wellness of a system and a structure? So I'd love to be able to kind of toy with that idea. What is the social wellness of a higher ed institution? What is the social wellness of our curriculum? Or social wellness of pedagogies that we revealed, and the way in which arts can play a role in that. So in addition to kind of looking at the lived experiences and the material realities of people, I'm intrigued by what that looks like for systems and structures. And I also think about, what does that mean in terms of how do we measure the effectiveness of our pedagogies, of our methodologies, and is social wellness part of that measurement of success, if I may call it that, in quotes, success in quotes. So I think about some of those kinds of things, both philosophically and in the ways in which my work can leverage that and sustain those conversations.
What I love about what you're trying to propose or what you're doing, right? You're not proposing, you're doing it already, is thinking not just only at the personal level, but really thinking about the systems and the structures. Like it's from the macro, the micro, and then, because at the end of the day, it's the little that the individual can do. You have to think in terms of system structures and institutions.
Yeah, and again, if I really believe that, wellness is not only something that is within one person, but it is relational and it is contextual, then I want that to kind of permeate all aspects of my work, right? So.
I've been chatting with, for the past 10 minutes or so, I've been chatting with Dr. Dirk Rodricks from the University of Toronto and really zoning on to well-being, wellness, well-being within the context of his work and really how it's not just about the personal, lived and living experience of that, but also how that affects systems and structures. But thank you so much for taking the time to be on this talk with me today, and then looking forward to our next episode. This is Taiwo, signing out.
You have been listening to Glocal Voices, the official podcast of the Center for Socially Engaged Theatre at the University of Regina. For more details about the center, visit www.cset.ca.